Hello, coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great day as always. In today's video, we are going to look at these three coins right here. We've got a 1945, 1945, and a 1945 Mercury Dime. This is also known as the Winged Liberty Head Dime. The Winged Liberty Head Dime was the original name of the coin, but then people started going by the Mercury Dime. They started calling it the Mercury Dime for its resemblance to the Greek god Mercury, who also wore a fingrum cap, a similar kind of winged cap that we see right here on Lady Liberty. So this coin right here was designed by Adolf Wiedmann, and that's why we see the W initial right here. And in this video, we'll talk about the mintages of the 1945 Mercury Dime. We've got a dime that came before it right here, the Barbara Dime, and the dime that came after it, the Roosevelt Dime. We'll also talk about the values of the Mercury Dime in both average condition and with the full bands designation to it. We'll also get into some error coins associated with the 1945 Mercury Dime. But quickly, let's preface it by saying the dimes that came before the Mercury Dime and the dimes that came after. So prior to the Mercury Dime, we had the Barbara Dimes. The Barbara Dimes were made starting in 1892 and were made all the way up until 1916. Then starting in the year 1916, so we had an overlap year for 1916, we had the Mercury Dimes, which were made all the way from 1916 up until 1945. So these 45s right here are the last year that the Mercury Dime was produced. Then starting in 1946, the year after FDR passed away, we have the Roosevelt Dimes, and we've been using these same Roosevelt Dimes all the way till today. Now setting the center stage for these ones right here, let's talk about the mintages. So how many of these were made? At the Philadelphia Mint, there are 159 million of them were made. At the Denver Mint, there are 40 million. At the San Francisco Mint, there are 41 million. Now, how do you know which mint your coin was made at? Well, you have to flip it over, and then on the reverse side, if it has a mint mark in this area right here, then it was made at either the Denver or the San Francisco Mint. If it doesn't have any mint mark, like this one right here, that means it's one of those 159 million that were made at the Philadelphia Mint. And as you guessed, if yours is made at the Denver or the San Francisco Mint, it'll be a little bit more rare because the mintages are lower. So we flipped over this one right here, no mint mark either. So that's coming from the Philadelphia Mint. And then we flipped it over for this one, and very happy that we've got one mint mark in the bunch. So we have the Denver Mint. So that's what the Denver Mint coin will look like. If yours has got an S in that exact same spot, that will be the San Francisco Mint. Again, the mintages, how many of them were made? There are 159 million made at the Philadelphia Mint, only 40 million made at the Denver Mint, like we see right here. However, both of them, both the Philly, the Denver, and the San Francisco Mint will all have the same value at a fine 12 condition. That value will be $2.75. When we go into the very fine condition, those will be worth $30. Extremely fine, those will be worth $3. Extremely fine, $3.25. Then $6 for a mint state 60 grade. Now these numbers go all the way up to 70, so a 60 is a pretty good grade. These will all have the same values at mint state 63. That will be $12. And then when we get to 65, that's where we'll start to kind of split apart. The Philadelphia Mint ones will be worth 28. The Denver Mint ones will be worth 26. And the San Francisco Mint ones will be worth 30. And that's all according to the Red Book price guide that I have in front of me right here. Some of the other resources that I like to use are the PCGS price guide. That is a free one, so that's online. If you Google search PCGS price guide, Mercury Dimes, it will show you this long list of Mercury Dimes, and then you can go click on the specific year and the specific mint mint mark coin that you're looking to get the price of. And an interesting part of their website is the rarity and survival estimate section. So for a lot of their coins, especially the older ones, they have an estimate about how many of them survived. So for the Mercury Dime, for the Philadelphia Mint, for the non-full bands designation, they're estimated that 45,000 have survived in all grades. That's 45 out of 159 million. 20,000 have survived in a 60 condition or better, and just 12,000 have survived in a mint state 65 or better. So those mint state graded coins are going to be where the money is at. The money will also be very high if you've got a full bands designation coin. So I'm going to just focus in on this right here. And so when we zoom in, we can see that there are bands going across the middle right here, the bottom and the top of this fasces. Now a fasces is the kind of official definition of what this is on the back right here, which is a bound bundle of wooden rods, sometimes including an axe with its blade emerging. So the fasces is what we see right here. And then so we've got that bound bundle of wooden sticks with the axe emerging. And then we've got the olive branch, which we see on a lot of American coins going kind of around the fasces. Now to get the full bands designation, this is just like with the Mercury Dimes. So this is just like with the Roosevelt dime. So this is the reverse side of a Roosevelt dime coin, and see how it's got those bands going across the top and the bottom right here. So if yours has the bands that are going across here, but they're split, meaning you can see like a line, see how this one starts to have a line right there. If yours has a line going all the way across, for all four of these right here, then yours would be eligible to get that full bands designation. That full bands designation will really jack up the price of it. Now, it's important to point out that your coin will, even if it's uncirculated, it might not have that full bands designation because it might not have been struck very well by the mint. So when the die kind of hits the planchet, not all the times does the split bands come out, which is kind of why they are so rare. Now, the most expensive 1945 full bands Philadelphia Mint coin was sold in January 3rd of 2018 at a heritage auction for $96,000. So that is the auction record for the 1945 Mercury Dime with the full bands designation. There was a Mint State 67 Plus graded coin by PCGS. Mint State 67 Plus, PCGS has only graded 2 of these in the full bands designation. Now let's get into those error coins, which I promised to talk about. So there are actually 6 different error coins associated with the 1945 Mercury Dime that are called out in the PCGS price guide. So we've got 1, 2, and then we've got, which one was my other, here we got to get that one out. And these are my 3 Mercury Dimes right here, all from 1945. So the ones that that Cherry Picker's Guide to Rare Die and Variety Coins calls out as error coins. We've got the 1945 Doubled Die Obverse. That one's described as a rather nice spread can be seen on the date. More doubling might be evident on the earlier die stages. The coin shown in their particular book is one of the late die state. So that one, they don't list the prices for it, but that's the 1945 Doubled Die Obverse for the Philadelphia Mint. Now at the Denver Mint, there's 2 different repunched mint marks. Both of them are obviously on the reverse side right here, which is where you find the mint mark. So there is repunched mint marks for the 1945 Denver Mint. For the San Francisco Mint, there's also 1 repunched mint mark, and there is 1 possible over mint mark. So the over mint mark for the 1945 San Francisco Mint is described as the primary S mint mark is evident. However, what may be underlying is a D is evident within the upper and lower loops of the S. So that is very interesting. So imagine seeing a S mint mark right here on the reverse side of your coin, but there's actually a kind of D faded behind it. In the 1945 S, there's also a micro S error coin out there. The micro S is more valuable. That'll be worth $85 at a mint state 65, and that's without even having the full bands designation to it. So keep your eye out for those repunch mint marks for the Denver and the San Francisco, and for the 1945 doubled die obverse. So that will be 1945 Philadelphia Mint doubled die obverse, which we will see right here and right here. Now, we haven't talked about the actual value of the metal content of this coin. I usually mention that when we're talking about silver coins. So let me get that information for you as well. The melt value of these 1945 Mercury Dimes and all Mercury Dimes is going to be that it's going to be $1.31. That's based on the fact that these are 90% silver, 10% copper, and have a weight of just 2.5 grams. So they're a rather small coin, which is why the melt value of the coin itself is only worth $1.31. All right, everyone, that's all the info that I've got for you for today. Thank you very much, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy!